first probes arrived in orbit with the calmness of tourists, scanning the jagged surface of a rocky, barren planet they had chosen without ceremony. The planet had no name worth remembering, at least not to anyone who wasn't about to die trying to claim it. The humans called it Greyspire because of its cliffs, its broken mesas, and the endless dust storms that could strip paint from a hole in seconds. The alien race, whom humans had not yet bothered to name, had lived here for centuries. They called themselves the Krell, a hive-minded species that moved with mechanical precision. To them, conflict was efficient and boring, a matter of angles and force calculations. Rocks, mountains, natural barriers, these were all weapons in their hands. They had no interest in technology beyond what kept their society running smoothly. Lasers were irrelevant. Momentum was law. Humans, however, had momentum of a different kind. It was reckless, loud, and sometimes absurd. They arrived in orbit in ships that gleamed like sunlight caught on silver, lowering themselves into the jagged canyons with a grace that belied the destruction they were about to unleash. Commander Ray, the mission leader, stood on the bridge, watching the planet through the reinforced viewport. "They think they own this place because they understand rocks," he said. His voice had the calm authority of someone who had seen too many impossible situations become manageable. "We brought lasers." His crew laughed, a sound the Krell could not interpret. Humor was useless in calculations, but humans thrived on it. The engineers below deck were already calibrating energy weapons, and the scientists were scanning the planet for structural weaknesses. Humans did not wait for perfect conditions. They created them. Down on Greyspire, the Krell noticed the intruders immediately. Patrol of their stone-carved drones had moved along the eastern ridges, rolling immense boulders down paths that humans would later call kill zones. The Krell communicated in pulses of light and vibration, an intricate language no human could hear but which could alter entire battle formations in seconds. "Momentum is everything." One Krell voice pulsed through the field. "Nothing else matters. Nothing survives the fall." The first clash was almost anticlimactic. Humans landed in a canyon where the boulders fell faster than the eye could track. Most species would have panicked, but humans smiled. The laser grids activated in a synchronized rhythm, cutting boulders mid-fall, vaporizing rock into dust before it could strike. The Krell recalculated, astonished. Nothing in their centuries of strategy had accounted for precision energy beams that could change the very physics of falling objects. "You see, momentum works both ways," Ray said to his second-in-command, a woman named Lila. "We just brought gravity a new friend." The Krell adjusted. The rock launches became more complex, rolling slabs at angles, timing falls with pendulum-like swings. Humans adjusted again, their shields humming, their pulse lasers dancing across the canyon walls, like lightning. Every time a boulder should have crushed them, it instead exploded into harmless shards. It was not just technology, it was audacity. Humans ran into open ridges where boulders rained down like a metallic storm, laughing and firing as if physics itself was a joke. The Krell realized that their centuries of perfect momentum calculations were useless against beings who refused to fear momentum itself. Humans bent the laws of the battlefield to their will. In a wide plateau, the two sides met more directly. The Krell unleashed their stone giants' massive constructs of rock and metal, moving with slow inevitability. Each step shattered the ground, sending shock waves that would flatten lesser creatures. Humans, unafraid, countered with kinetic disruptors, devices that amplified the energy of moving objects. A giant rock fist hit the ground, and the disruptor redirected the energy into a backwash that sent the constructs staggering. The Krell pulsed in confusion. Momentum had always been predictable until now. Humans did not wait. They charged, leaping. From rock to rock, using gravity as a springboard and lasers as a guide. Every strike was precise, every movement fluid. And the Krell realized that these humans had something their calculations could not account for: improvisation. High above, human dropships hovered, releasing more troops into the chaos. The canyon echoed with energy pulses, the sound of rock shattering, and the occasional human shout of triumph. For the Krell, it was disorienting. For humans, it was a dance of chaos and order intertwined. A Krell commander, sensing the tide turning, attempted a final gambit. The largest boulder they had ever moved, a slab taller than a city, was rolled from a distant peak aimed to crush the humans once and for all. Their calculations were perfect. The trajectory, the weight, the impact, everything should have been fatal. Ray watched the boulder fall from the viewport, the sheer size of it dwarfing even their largest dropships. He smiled, turning to Lila. Momentum is a language. We just wrote a new word. On the ground, humans activated the experimental devices. Energy beams split, refracted, and amplified, striking the boulder in patterns that could have only been conceived by beings who thought like humans, creatively, fearlessly, and relentlessly. The boulder cracked in midair, its massive weight redirected harmlessly into the canyon floor. Dust rose like clouds of defiance. The Krell halted. It communicated frantically, but humans continued to advance, moving with the confidence of creatures who had learned that survival was not about submission to natural laws, it was about bending them. They did not merely fight, they improvised physics. Night fell over Greyspire, and the humans did not rest. They established perimeters, scanning for new boulders, new ambushes, but also taking time to observe the planet itself. Unlike the Krell, humans saw beauty in destruction, poetry in chaos. Rocks were not just obstacles, they were canvases. Over the following days, the humans pushed the Krell back, capturing high ground, dismantling massive stone constructs, and setting up forward observation posts. Each time the Krell attempted to use momentum against them, humans adapted faster, reshaping the battlefield with ingenuity and energy. The Krell could not understand it. Momentum had always been sacred, inviolable. Humans treated it like clay, molding it into new forms, combining it with technology and creativity. They moved like a storm, unpredictable and unstoppable, showing that the universe was not a set of rules to be followed, but a playground for those bold enough to act. Finally, the Krell retreated to the jagged peaks where they had first ruled the planet. The humans, however, did not give chase in immediate aggression. They took a moment to understand the land, to chart its dangers and resources, to respect its scale. They had not conquered Greyspire out of hatred or greed. They had done so because they refused to be limited. Commander Ray addressed the remaining crew. Momentum is a tool, not a master. This is the gospel we brought here. Act boldly, adapt quickly, and never fear the forces that others worship. The Krell would remain on the planet, silent and cautious, their hive minds forever altered by the humans who laughed at the very things they considered law. They had faced a species that could calculate, but could also leap, improvise, and reshape reality in the blink of an eye. They had brought lasers to a rock fight, and in doing so, had rewritten the meaning of force and resistance as the sun rose over the jagged canyons. The humans planted a marker, a simple steel column, engraved with a phrase they would remember for generations. Momentum is nothing without intent. Greyspire had changed. The Krell had changed. And humanity, once again, had proven that survival was not about the rules you inherited, about the courage to bend them, to defy them, and, when necessary, to laugh in the face of inevitability. The battle was over, but the gospel of momentum had only begun.